you can actually make a purchase instead of the number of, if you're making options, number of contracts or the number of shares. Thinkorswim has the option to actually purchase a certain amount. So if you have $1,000 in your account, and you only want to risk 10%, you can purchase 100% of that stock, or 10% of
Nice.
of that. So you can purchase strictly $100, and whatever that will purchase you, the limit. So if you want to limit it that way instead of doing the math real quick, that's what I've been using, and it's something I just found out, and it's been working pretty well.
Hell yeah. Real quick, is there anybody that can restream my stream so the people that can't see the screen can join the other stream?
Yeah, Dylan, I can do that. I'll do a pop out and restream. You'll just have to
Perfect.
give me permission.
Yeah, that's what, yeah. I had to remember how to do it for a second. Give me 1 sec. That was Elite, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you should be good to go now. I'm gonna turn the tunes down just a little bit. So Easy Trader, what is did you trade anything today?
Yeah, I was trading primarily SPY.
Okay, I like it. It's a good it's a good trader.
It's just that those premiums on those options are like super cheap. So
Yeah, it's a good trader. Let me stretch my screen a little bit. That's better. Perfect. Okay, anybody that can't see my screen, just you can click on Elite X. He's also he's restreaming my stream. Elite, you might also have to stay muted unless you're talking, because I think it echoes doing this, but you're good right now. Okay. So, real quick, let's go. SPY's just kind of runs up. What's another thing you like to trade? Easy?
Apple.
I like it.
Apple, AMD, Nvidia.
Okay. You know what to look for to draw common horizontal support and resistance lines, right?
Yeah, I also followed what you mentioned in the last chat, where the monthly, weekly, and daily close wicks, open high, low,
Yep.
all that. So I have all that charted for these triggers.
Okay, I'm gonna go back over that. Just for everybody else that's on here. So I would say it sounds like if you understood all that, it sounds like you're having trouble watching and knowing and telling like what the candle is telling you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. We'll go over that then. Let me go ahead and go through kind of where we're gonna get our lines from.
Understand the basics, like the hammer is more bullish, engulfing, bearish, bullish.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the basics, but it's just that when you are at some level near either daily support, resistance, or weekly or monthly, the bounce, like how to enter the trade at that point.
Okay. All right, and everybody that is on here, unless you're asking a question or talking, can you please mute your mic so we don't get any feedback?
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is go to the monthly chart. And then you want to select this magnet all the way to the far left. It'll automatically snap either to the wick or to the body of the candle. And so it'll get you the specific price of the open, the close, the high, low. So you want to have that selected. Somebody showed me this the other night, and I still thank them a million times for it. That pencil below the magnet will keep you in drawing mode, so you don't have to keep going back. to what you want to use. So first thing, I'm just going to grab the obvious points of structure, meaning the obvious points of support and resistance that I see. So just points that really stand out to me, that there's a bunch of candles that are meeting at the same point, either the wick or the body, doesn't matter. And I'm going to make these actually brighter, so if I see them come up on the 5-minute chart where I trade, I know that those are actually the big key levels. I see some wicks all gathering around right there for a party. That's not really one that I want. Right there. There's one there. Grab that top up there. And this should be good on Apple. I don't ever see it coming back down to $108. Okay. Yep, I like it. Okay, so knowing that it takes a lot of money to move Apple during the day, I know that the max Apple's going to move probably in a day, $5 or less, maybe a little more if it's having a really, really good day, but typically probably $5 or less. So I am going to now do the same thing, but within a $5 range of the price line, which is the current price right now, up and down, I want to select the open, the close, the high, and low of every candle within $5. Does that make sense to everybody? If not, please let me know, because you need to know where the open, the close, the high, and low is on every candle, because this is perfect. Okay, no problem. Thanks for letting me know. So we'll just start with this one since it's the first one here. On a red candle, your open is the top of the body, okay? The bottom of a red candle is the close. This is a monthly candle. You see that over here it still has 17 days left. But just remember, the bottom of a red candle is the close. This would be the highest point that it reached, so that would be the high. And the bottom of the wick will be the low, because that is the lowest point that it has reached during this monthly candle. The reason you need to know this is because when you're day trading the 5-minute, you need to pay attention to where each candle opens and closes. And it sometimes helps to kind of pay attention to where the high and low is. If you start seeing a wick, well, the body will get there first. The body goes down, like Tesla today. I entered on my phone while I was working at my house at another test of 1050 for a break below 1050. When I seen that a candle made a lower wick, because it quickly went under 1050, probably the 1049, somewhere around there, and then shot back up. So it was just a wick down there, but it made a low. It made a lower low than the previous point. So I knew wait up for maybe 1 to 3 minutes more just to make sure that it's going to stay in the spot or go lower. And as soon as I seen that, I got in with some puts and made some more money for the day. So that's why I say easy. You're having trouble reading the candles. This is what I mean. You need to pay attention to where they're opening and closing, and I'll show you where you really need to pay attention to them opening and closing.
Hey, Gillett?
Yeah.
Is anybody else having trouble seeing the Elite X stream?
Anybody?
I was watching it and then it went away. I don't know if anybody else is having problems. I've tried to get on top of
Let me rejoin it.
Okay.
He might have got dropped
He's
off.
walking fine.
Prim, are you in here? Are you able to see my stream? Can you restream it just in case he drops off again? If you can, I don't know if you're on your computer or not. If not, no big deal.
Hey, Dylan, you're at max viewer, so I can't get back in.
I don't have permission.
Well, you're a super mod.
I couldn't hear anything on my computer.
Stand by,
for a while
Prim.
on my phone, and I can hear everything fine on my phone. It's weird.
Okay, Prim, try her now.
Is the access. Make sure you don't have the tab muted if you got a lot of tabs open in your browser.
Yeah, he probably just got dropped off. Discord does that a lot.
I can hear you guys, like I'm listening to you, but
I don't know why they still have a max viewer of 50. It's so annoying. Okay, Prim's up there now. Let me know when everybody's good to go. Oh, Prim dropped off.
yeah, good. I'm good here. Thanks, guys.
Everybody good?
I can hear everybody good. I'm just getting some grandpa music playing in the background somehow.
That's my jams I got going on. So it's not so dead silent. Mash Man, can you mute, please? You got some background coming through. All right, everybody good now? Should be. There's 3 people restream, or 3 people total. Okay, so like I was saying, I'm going to grab the open, the close, the high and low of every candle within that $5 range. Now, if I did this on Tesla, I would go $100 north and $100 south of the current price, because Tesla, as you know, can easily move $100 in a day. But since we're doing Apple, it's pretty easy. And these I'm going to make a different color. I'm going to say red, and I'm going to make them kind of transparent because it can get pretty busy sometimes when they're all really bright. Oh man, I forgot to select my pencil. Okay.
Do the lines you're drawing have any relationship to auto extensions or auto retracements, Fibonacci lines?
I'm not sure. I don't mess with fibs. Unless we're talking about the reversal zones indicator. That is fib, the auto fib, but we kind of tweaked it a little bit. I'm sure some of them do, because I mean these are just support and resistance lines when we get down to the 5-minute time frame. I mean, this is all they are. And I have seen the fib lines, you know, kind of fall on support and resistances, so. And I did drop down to the weekly chart because I have this kind of gap in here that I need to have some lines in so I can see what's going on in here.
Why did you make your lines more transparent?
When you see this little kind of box that pops up when you select the tool.
Which tool were you using? Could
Just
you show us real quick?
yeah, just the horizontal line. It should be over here in the toolbox where the trend lines and stuff are. I just use the horizontal line that shoots all the way across the chart.
Yeah, I'm clicked on mine right now.
And then when you place the line, you have this kind of like toolbar that pops up. At the bottom, you see opacity, and I usually keep mine around 40%. Just whatever.
Oh, when you click on the color. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, yeah. I click on the color 100 times a day, and I never noticed that it says opacity on the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely handy.
Yeah, it does get really busy. Like when you try to go back to the day chart or something, it's like just covered in lines. It's like, oh
yeah.
God. Yeah, if you can make them 12 days, that's awesome.
So I started on the monthly, went to the weekly. I sometimes don't even have to go to the daily because by the time I do the monthly and weekly, I have plenty enough to go on and trade with. But if I have a big gap like this in between my lines, I definitely need to fill that up with some type of lines for support and resistance areas. So right now I'm just looking for common areas again. Yeah, go ahead.
I know you started off by drawing those bright lines with white.
Mm-hmm.
Then you started changing them to red.
Yep.
I just want some clarity on that. Like,
Okay.
you started off with the white ones.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So what I said in the beginning was I'm gonna make these bright, like 100% transparency, and really bright because let me go back to the monthly and I'll kind of just walk back down. These are very, very heavy supporter resistance areas. You see how many monthly candles came down and got supported on this one at $108.11. That's why I'm making it so bright. Same thing right here. These are like my main, like if I was going to swing trade, these would be the levels I'm swing trading from, right? Now all these red lines up here are I'm just grabbing the open, the close, the high and low of every candle that's in the $5, $10 range. And I'll show you why when we get down to the 5 minute. It'll all make sense. Right now it kind of looks like a jumbled mess, but you'll definitely be able to see why when we get there.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you.
No problem. So some of these you see I'm changing to white now that I'm on the daily because I see how many times they've been tested that I didn't see on the weekly and the monthly chart. So
You know how you can do the thickness too?
yes.
So what I was actually just practicing before I got the notification to join this chat was on my TV on my big screen. It's way clearer. And I was putting, like line thickness 3
Yeah.
for monthly ones, line thickness 2 for weekly ones, and line thickness 1 for daily ones.
Hell yeah, good plan.
It's sweet that I can.
You can change the style as well. If you haven't seen, you can do dotted lines, dashed line, or a solid line.
Yeah, and then like green for anything below, yellow for anything that's flirting with it right now,
Yep.
and then red for anything above. And it's, oh my god, it's made it so much more clear.
Yeah, so when you get to the chart and the day's going on, you know exactly what it means by color coding them and thickness.
Yeah, exactly.
Good job.
I'm so looking forward to tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Friday.
That's why a lot of us trade US 30. We don't have to wait, except on the weekends. Okay, so back to this. I'm going to start popping all my lines in here again. Like that. I need to change them back to red on these because they're important, but they're not as important as my main areas. I'm just kind of looking across the chart. I'm going to set my crosshair there after it snaps straight to it, and I'm going to look across the chart left and right to see if any other areas really line up with it really good. So that one does perfect. Got that one there on that wick to the right. And some of these are close, but they're not spot on.
And I noticed too, when I draw these on the monthly or weekly, and then I start zooming into like 1 hour chart, 5 minute chart, stuff like that, sometimes I just have to move the line just a tiny bit so it lines up with like the most recent stuff that's been going on.
Yeah.
You notice that too?
I don't ever really have to move mine. If it doesn't come all the way to, like if we're heading towards one of my resistance lines and it falls a little short, that's okay. Sometimes it's going to happen. But if it's close enough to where you see it's coming up, I consider it that it still got resisted by that point. You know, there might have been some really eager sellers or something, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't judge it too much, as long as you know there's a resistance coming up. Okay, so it looks busy now. I know. Stand by. Now we're going to go down the 5 minute where I trade. Zoom out a little bit. Apple is pretty busy, huh? All right, let me get out of drawing mode here. Okay, first thing I'm going to add on is the VWAP. Does anybody not know what VWAP is?
Nah, I don't really know what is VWAP is.
Okay, so let me click off. Okay. So VWAP is volume weighted average price. It's probably one of the most used indicators by any trader that knows what they're doing. So you definitely want to have it on your chart. A lot of people, when it comes to VWAP, they'll either sell or they'll buy. So a good way to think about it is a moving support and resistance line.
Can we use VWAP for scalping?
You could, as it bounces off of it and stuff. Yep, that's a lot of people do the same thing.
There's a lot of different options for VWAP. Is there a specific one that you chose? I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't see the screen. Which one you?
Do the built-in for any platform that you're on. So if you're on Webull, just don't mess with any settings. You want to see the same thing that everybody else is seeing on their platforms. So a lot of people try to. Yeah.
Can you highlight on that screen which one you clicked?
This one right here, the volume weighted average price. Don't.
Volume weighted average price.
Yeah, don't go to anything in the community scripts that has been played with and messed with. And when you add the built-in, you'll have two green bands, is what they call them. If you go, you can keep them on there. That's okay. Sometimes they do kind of come into play, but I haven't noticed them come into play enough. So on most charting platforms and brokers and everything, you'll only have the one line. So if you want to turn those bands off, you can just go into the settings for the indicator, just like Vision. You hit the gear, and then you go to calculate bands and uncheck it. Everybody got that so far?
Section 6.
Okay, so a good way to think about VWAP and to kind of picture it is moving support and resistance. So if you see candles breaking through it, it's a good idea to wait till it gets above it or below it, and usually it'll come back for a test. So wait for it to come back and test, because there's no guarantee that it's going to break through it. It could easily move above it a little bit and then sink right back below it. All right, and like I said, people like to trade to and from the VWAP. So you see right here, this is why, in my mind, I kind of view it like it has a magnetic pull, like it's trying to pull.
What do you mean, like come back and test it after it breaks through?
So let me get my little drawing tool here. So see, like this right here, if it was going to keep coming up through it, 9 times out of 10 it'll come up above it, come back to it, and that's when it's going to test it. They're going to see if there's enough buyers in there still to hold VWAP, and if there is, then it'll continue higher.
Got it.
So that where I circled, that would be where you actually want to enter. You don't want to enter as it's breaking through it, because like I said, it can quickly come up and then shoot right back below it. And you'll see that probably, I would say, at least once a day.
Where did you say you want to enter and broke up on it?
So let's just use this this bearish deal as a example. So you see it comes up above it, 2 green candles off the open, came up above it, it came back below it, it closed below it with these 2 small candles, and then once you see this, they see 2 candles that close below VWAP. This is why we get this big red candle here. This is where all the sellers really started to step in together. So like I said, you want to pay attention to where the candle opens and closes. So those 2 red candles, the little ones, I'm trying to circle just those 2, but it keeps bouncing on me. So those 2 little candles right there both close below VWAP, and these are 5-minute candles, so it holds a lot more weight than like a 1-minute chart would. So they see 2 5-minute candles close below VWAP, and then a bunch of sellers stepped in finally. So that would be a.
Would you take the trade at the one that's closing right below, or would you take the trade when the big 5 candle shows up?
I would take the trade right exactly when Vision tells you to. So this bull signal here, if everybody doesn't know by now, there's no way anything like vision or vision itself can be 100% accurate. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, that bull signal was wrong. Well, it's not going to be 100% perfect all the time. It's our job to help with it. Vision can just only tell us kind of where it's suggested that we should get in based on where buyers are really stepping in or sellers are really stepping in. And it makes sense as to why buyers are stepping in here. They're trying to get it above all these resistances and try to get it above VWAP. Because if it goes above VWAP, then it's going to now turn bullish.
And we could look at it this way, right? Like even if the bull shows up, we should wait for the candle to close above the VWAP,
Exactly.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like this would not be good for you to enter because you're so close to the bottom side of VWAP. There's a high chance, especially if you looked at the market, which you should be doing, and by that I mean look at the SPY, look at the VIX, look at the Qs. If they're bullish, Apple's going to be bullish or bearish. Sorry, if they're bearish, Apple's going to be bearish. So knowing that those and everything else today was pretty red, I wouldn't have been on the bull side anyway. But knowing that there's a real good chance that we're going to get rejected at VWAP here. And again, like I said, people like to enter trades at the VWAP, whether it's to the downside or the upside.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because a .USD, the cryptocurrency chart, actually looks very similar to this Apple chart. And I actually entered on that bull signal because I think I was using the stochastic RSI. It was in oversold. So I entered, but luckily I had the stop loss right under that daily resistance.
Yeah.
So I got out. It was a small loss. But I was going to ask, so if the price is under the VWAP, obviously you should kind of favor the bear signals a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
But when do you kind of know, like, because eventually everything is going to reverse and start going back towards the VWAP. You know, how do you know to trust those bull signals in that case?
I'll show you kind of what I look for on Tesla. I don't know if everything else moves like this. I'm assuming it does, but I'll show you after we kind of go over the rest of these signals here on the chart. And just a quick question. You said, did you enter strictly based on the stochastic RSI? Or did you have any other reasoning for entering the trade?
So, no, it wasn't just because of the stochastic. So I had the VWAP. I had my trend lines drawn, not trend lines, I'm sorry, support and resistance lines drawn. And it looked like I had enough confirmation to kind of do like a quick scalp. You know, because I was, only aiming for a decimal amount of percentage.
Okay.
And it just like, it was like 1 point off from what I needed. And then it just reversed.
Okay.
So, I probably shouldn't have entered because I was like, this is definitely a bearish day. Like, well.
Okay, so on crypto, I'm not sure if VWAP is going to work because you got to think about most of the crypto traders probably have never heard of VWAP ever. So me and Melody went over this last night. We were like, hey, I wonder if US30 kind of acts the same with VWAP. And there's some instances where we could say, maybe. But you might try what we've seen on US30 and use the 20 EMA as VWAP. Try that on crypto. I'm assuming because we know that a lot of crypto traders use EMA lines.
Can you just real quickly pull up .USD to kind of
Sure.
see what I was talking about? Okay, go over a little bit more to the left.
Yeah, no shit. Wow, that looks almost just like Apple. Holy cow.
So that's what I was saying. So I entered like right there.
Okay.
And you see that red candle, like before it came back down, closed as a red candle, it went up. And I could have it would have been a profitable trade, but it just didn't make it quite enough. I was using the VWAP kind of as the take profit signal. It just didn't reach it.
I feel you. So, in any instance, stocks, crypto, forex, whatever you're trading, when something is this close to the VWAP, and let's say a bull signal, long signal pops up, never take it because of how close it is to VWAP. One, because there's not very much risk to reward there. I mean, for me, I exit at VWAP because there's no guarantee it's going through it, right? So there's really not much room to make profit there, and being as so close, it's really not worth the risk. Because I mean, especially when you see a big down move like this, or like down move on Tesla, SPY, Apple, everything made today, there's a good chance that chart's going to be bearish for the whole day. So if you didn't get in on this bounce down here, which was a very profitable bounce, and this is exactly the kind of trades I look for, is a bounce back to VWAP, and that's why I said my exit where I take profit is VWAP most of the time on a move like this. If I'm trading against it, and really I shouldn't, but you got to get it sometimes.
So basically, like I saw the right thing. It's just because the vision signal was so close to the VWAP, I shouldn't have took it.
Yeah. Because vision signal was too close and price was too close. But, I'm just interested what scalper 2 will look like here.
Winning trades, so.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty busy on crypto here.
So, Dylan, as a rule of thumb, the farther away from VWAP, the more reliable the vision signal is?
Not the vision signal, because vision doesn't know anything about VWAP. It can't see it. It's not built into it, nothing like that. But like I was saying earlier, in my mind, I picture that VWAP has a magnetic pull on price. So I don't know if anybody here was in the US 30 chat when I was telling them one of my scalping strategies on the 5-minute for US 30, where same thing, when it gets away from the 20 EMA, I trade it back to the 20 EMA, and the 20 is my take profit. So I watch, and when like the stochastic or the RSI or the Fisher gets extended, and the price is extended away from the 20 EMA, it's guaranteed it's coming back to it. You just got to kind of time the move, and so when you have vision pulled up and it's on one of the scalper modes, so you get the quicker signals, as soon as that sucker starts flashing, I'm in, trading it back to the 20 EMA. Whether we're trading downward back towards the 20 EMA or upward back towards the 20 EMA, that's what I'm doing. So let me just add the 20 here on this crypto just while we're here, just to see if it's better than the VWAP like I was at. Like, so I'm assuming it probably is. Yeah, see how it's respecting the 20 down here? Kind of right here in the middle, it's resisting it all through here like it's money. Supporting it here a little bit till it broke through it. Then some more sellers came in, rejected it, finally broke through it, and it took off. I would if you're on crypto or forex of any kind, if it's not a stock, I would use the 20 EMA, 100%. But use the 20 EMA use it the same way you would use VWAP. You're just changing the line. That's all you're doing there. But same thing. So on this bull signal like this, let me turn on scalper 2 because it's really busy on crypto. So bear with me. See how quick that comes in? As soon as I see that sucker flash, I'm trading it back to the 20 EMA. I'm out right there. That's my take profit. And so on the 5-minute, I'm just in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. As soon as it gets away from the 20 EMA, I trade it back to it. As soon as I see the signal that tells me, hey, it's about time to start heading back. So think of it, again, like it has a magnetic pull, and it's going to suck it back. Cash actually pinned the day I was telling everybody that strategy in the US 30, and I imagine it works on most forexes, pairs, and most cryptos. It's up to you if you want to try it on crypto. But yeah, that's for sure. I'd use the 20 EMA on crypto and forex as your VWAP. That's great.
So in the example of that top bear signal, you're not really waiting for the price to hit the...
Which bear? Far left?
The far left.
Okay.
Because we can see that the downtrend is really strong.
Uh-huh.
What makes us determine not to wait until price hits the VWAP area, and we can just go ahead and enter in there?
Enter in when it breaks through.
Yeah, like
That's fine.
it's
That's exact. I mean, that's why you see so many big red candles here. This is where smart traders without vision are entering.
yeah.
You know.
So is it safe to enter as soon as we see that beer signal in there, or no? We need to wait.
Well, I know. I would say it depends on how much trading experience you have. Because, like I said, I don't know how long you've had vision, but the signals flash a little bit on and off sometimes until the candle closes with that signal. Once the candle closes with that signal, it's locked in, can never move. But if I see something like, it's getting extended over the 20 like this, maybe Bitcoin's falling as well, every other crypto's starting to fall, whatever, and the bear signal starts to flash up here, maybe the RSI is extended. Let's actually look at that, because I assume that it probably is. Yeah, see how far RSI is extended there? I mean, that's easy money on that. Fisher's extended, the RSI is extended. When that bear signal starts to flash, I have really good confidence that it's going back to the 20 EMA at least. So that's, when I look at multiple things, but just real quick, you see that those oscillators are very extended, meaning they're overbought. And I'm getting a bear signal that's flashing when price is a good bit away from the 20 EMA.
Hey,
But
so Dylan, you will grab some lots like as soon as it pops. You don't always just wait for them to close.
well, I don't want to steer nobody wrong. If you're new to trading, you should absolutely 100% wait for it to close.
Yeah.
Maybe even
Well,
wait for half the next candle just to make sure,
yeah, see, I had charted SPY the other day and was trying to trade it, and I missed out on a $3 move because I was waiting on it to pop, or waiting on it to close on the 15 minute. I missed out on a $3 move.
Yeah.
So I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, and that's another reason why I only trade Tesla. I watch it so much that I know if it gets a big ass candle poking through VWAP, bear signal flashing, I'm in. Like, I know exactly what's gonna happen.
What are some tickers you would recommend trade on a smaller account? Because I can't afford Tesla contracts.
If you're a beginner, you have a small account, Apple 100%. Easiest to trade. For beginners. I love trading it myself. Especially on swing trades.
I'm starting to get some confidence in.
That's great.
Like I did a bunch of charts and I didn't actually trade them, but I made the call in my mind and said, okay, I think it's going here and it'll be resisted here, and then looked at it, a couple hours later, and it did exactly what I thought it was going to do after charting it.
Hell
so
yeah.
I'm starting to get some confidence in it.
That's awesome.
Or in myself anyway.
Yep. Better every day. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I was wondering if anybody's got some other suggestions for good stocks with like tight spreads on options.
I like Square. Square as well.
I have MasterCard is my favorite, and I got SPY charted, Tesla, Netflix, Apple, all drawn out, trend lines, support, resistance, everything, but I wouldn't mind having more.
Yeah, I like Square, SQ. Square is a good one too. They're pretty cheap most of the time.
Yeah, and the spreads are close on the option prices?
Typically, yeah.
Here's a question I've got. I was looking at the 4-hour lot to swing, and I would look at one and it would look really, really good on the 4-hour, and then I would go to the 1 hour, and it wouldn't be looking near as good. If you did that, would you just wait for the 1 hour to look better and then check back at the 4? Or I mean, because me looking at the 4-hour, I should have just entered, but I deterred myself away from entering because I went back and looked at the 1 hour, and I was like, yeah, I think it's going to drop a little bit on the 1 hour, and then I can enter.
And you were trying to swing trade, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching, just trying to practice and plot out what my trades would have been.
Okay, so like on the 4-hour, if I'm looking to swing trade off of that, you seen like the main white lines that I plopped on Apple?
I didn't. I was in that.
Okay.
Whatever, when you were full.
I was like, could you go to Apple?
Mm-hmm. So, white line, main line. It's gonna be hard to see now that I have everything on here. But
So white lines are monthlies.
white lines are just like the key areas of support and resistance that everybody else will be seeing, not the grabbing every high low. You know what I mean?
Right, I see them on the monthlies. Yeah.
So they're on the weekly as well. Just like the swing highs, swing lows, just like you chart, everything else.
Right.
So those are because I know if I see the white line coming up on a 5-minute chart, that's probably going to be like the heaviest resistance, the heaviest support. And so if we go like to the 4-hour, these white lines are what you want to swing trade off of.
Yeah, see, I was using the MACD and the Fisher as well.
Yeah, Fisher, dude, I'm telling you, that Fisher is just unbelievable, man. I mean, if you look at it here,
on the
yeah.
1 hour and they're above, I wouldn't enter.
So, okay.
But they would be below on the 4 hour.
Here's what you need to do. Choose which time frame you want to trade on, either the 4-hour or the 1 hour. Don't look at both. What I do is pick one of those time frames, but then I go to the 15-minute to enter.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because typically on Vision, you'll typically, well, from what I trade, I see usually maybe one signal a day, but a lot of times there's a signal running from a day before, maybe the couple days before. So that's why I enter based on the 15. It's a great time frame just for me anyway. That's been really good to enter on. So like this, if you took this bounce down here, or if you waited for the vision signal, hell, I'm sure if we slap this on Scalper 2, it'd probably have a vision signal down there. Possibly. Am I on Scalper 2?
Microsoft was one that I thought was going to make a pretty good bounce, and I meant to enter it, but I deterred myself away from it.
Yeah.
And I missed out on a little bit.
And a lot of times, like on this, we could have got in on this, but really, if you look at it, this was only a 1-day runner.
Right.
So that kind of stuff sucks, but, if you entered based on that white line, like I said, it's on the white line from the night before you did your homework, so you would go to the 15-minute, and you would enter on the 15-minute on that white line. So let's, what date is this?
Hey Dylan, on mine I can only see Scalper there. I don't have Scalper 2 on my.
Yeah, that's kind of like a in-house deal that we're testing. If you want to use it though, if you're already a Vision subscriber, if you want to use it, message me your TradingView username and I'll give you access to it.
So right now,
I'm in on that too, bro.
Yeah, it's testing it, but we better watch tomorrow to see how it acts because it could quickly break it. And that's what I was going to show you. If you look at let's just go back to the 5-minute real quick. See how many times in after hours that sucker's on that support?
Yeah.
See all those candles because it's a main support. So tomorrow,
Based on
it's make or break. Like check it in pre-market. If it's below it, you have a pretty good chance of buying puts for the whole day. Maybe even hold them into next week.
How to test that next support.
Yeah, so it's make or break for Apple tomorrow. But let me go back to the 4 and look at this.
Based on the Fisher there on the 5-minute, I would think it would look extremely bearish.
It's judging by the day we had today, it's very possible. And Monday we don't have any market. So long weekend, a lot of people are going to be going straight cash and not holding any positions. Exactly. So we could see another red day tomorrow, which I'm okay with. Put, baby. Make it both ways. I don't even care. So what's 15th of December? So we're going to go the 15-minute. I'm going to find the 15th of December. And if you have patience to swing trade, dude, I wish I was you. I get so, my anxiety just goes crazy. Like I'm overnights, I can't sleep. I'm like, motherfucker's gonna drop without me, Okay, so we'll slap on Vision. We'll probably have to turn it back to Scalper 1. No, Scalper 2 did it. So see that bull signal there? We drop down to the 15-minute. Wait for our bull signal of the direction we think it's gonna go. and you see price came down all day. Okay. So based on the 4 hour, you'd come in here, or wait, maybe you're at work, whatever. You know, you kind of go into the hey boss, I gotta go to the bathroom, check on Apple. Maybe put you a buy limit down there on that price. And then, you know, in the bathroom while you're on the John, when you see we're getting down to their price, you enter. That's your entry. You wait for vision, jump on the 5 minute if you want to maybe get in a little sooner, but I like 15 minute because it confirms it a little extra, because we're waiting a whole 15 minutes for a confirmation. You know, so if you're going to be holding some overnight, I would suggest do it on the 15 for just that extra confirmation. I mean, I'm sure this bull signal was flashing. I mean, by the time it started cross through VWAP right there. But yeah, it's just best practice, extra confirmation. You know, and then here on the morning, you definitely wouldn't want to sold it.
So on Scalper 1 and Scalper 2, which one do you prefer? Like, what's the main difference that you noticed?
I'm kind of biased towards Scalper 2 because it was kind of like I came up with it, and I'm not a coder. But, you know, Josh, I had to come to Josh a number of times, like, hey, Josh, I need you to do this and this and this, you know. And he refined it a little bit. So I've been biased to that one, but I don't know, maybe if it's 2022 or what, but I've been using Scalper 1 on Tesla, and typically everything else I look at on the 5 minute, and man, it's been doing great. Like, excellent.
But you said we could test it out if we'll just send you a message on Discord.
Yeah, don't tell anybody that ain't in here, though. As long as you have vision. If you don't have vision, you're beat.
I heard that.
Hey Dylan, I kind of asked you this question in a personal message, but on the 5 minute when you're scalping, normally, you know, how many trades do you take in a day?
Well, it depends on if small account or big account. Because, like I said, don't do what I do. But I've been trading Tesla on a small account. So as you know, Tesla contracts are pretty high dollar. So typically just once in the morning, and then I go work on my house. And I started with 2K. It settled, and I was able to make my first trade on the new account on December 27th. And now it's, man, I'd have to check. I think it's 4,700.
That's a large account.
Do you think that's in part because of, you know, Tesla and the contracts being so expensive? We got
Well,
a high win rate, but could you replicate something like that on like Apple or something that's
Apple,
expensive?
absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, you're not going to make as much per contract. You know, like if I'm in Tesla and it moves $10, I make a lot. If I'm in Apple and it's not going to move $10 in one day, but if it did, it's not going to make as much as Tesla did, just because I'm paying more for the Tesla contracts. You know what I mean? So it's going to produce more.
On the contracts, do you like to do the weeklies, or do you like...
Yeah, I just do the weeklies. If it's Friday, I think about doing the next week. But like last Friday, I did same day expiration, and I should have held that sucker longer, because I bought in, I think it was 2,600 for the contract, and then sold it. I made like 400, I think 400 something, and then I looked back after lunch, and the damn thing was worth like 7,800.
Yeah, I made a mistake. I bought one for like 300, and then I sold for like 5, and I looked at it like at the end of the day, it was worth like 3,300.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, every day last week, I could have done the same thing exactly like I just explained. If I would have held maybe an hour longer, last week would have been like literally, I'm not exaggerating, would have been like a $10,000 week for me. But, you know, I'm just trying to build up a cushion, so I'm not really trying to hold and overstay my welcome. And profit's profit. I'm not going to be too bent out of shape about it. I mean, it sucks, sure, when you see it, but, you know.
I think that's where I've been going wrong, because, you know, I'm probably doing this to myself. When you look at the profit logs and you see all these amazing $1,000 profits, you think, you know, people are trading like all day, but you just kind of say, you know, you do like one trade in the morning,
Yeah.
And they
I
go
mean,
word
I'll
of mouth.
trade more once my house is, once I at least I'm living in my house and I can kind of work on it at night. And once I build up a cushion on my account, I might trade 2, 3 times maybe during the day. But um, you know,
That's that's right.
don't let other people's profits and stuff, just ignore them the best you can. I mean, congratulate them, stuff like that. But don't let it affect you and your account. You'll get there if you just stay on the steady path of growing your account. And every time you grow your account, even if it's $20, you should have learned something from that trade.
So, Dylan, what about like when your price is not close to the VWAP?
I couldn't hear you, kind of cutting out there. Can you say that
Oh,
again?
I was saying, what about when the price is not close to the VWAP? Like it's not retracing back to it and it
Uh-huh.
shows signals. What do you do then?
If it's not
How do
close
you
to it?
handle it? Yeah, like if you go back to the 5 minute Apple, today's,
Sure. Oh, hang on. Click the right one.
go to today's date.
Okay. Oh, let
So
me jump on scalper, regular scalper, because that's what everybody has.
you can turn on the VWAP.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
The
sorry,
VWAP.
my bad. My bad.
You see the third bear signal. Like
Yeah.
it didn't retrace all the way back up to the VWAP. What do you do in that case? Like how can you be more confident in entering the trade at that point?
Okay. I'll show you a couple things, and I want to see if this acts like Tesla. So, I use the Fisher. If you guys been here a while, I always use the Stoke, and the Stochastic's really good. But I can't remember where I stumbled across the Fisher at. But man, this thing has just been like, it's amazing. It's really like same type of scenario. It's a momentum oscillator, so you're looking for the same thing. If it's high, you're looking to go down. If it's low, you're looking to go up. Does that make sense to everybody? Same thing like RSI. Down here would be oversold, up here would be overbought. But man, the Fisher, I'm telling you, is just dead nuts, man. it's good.
So the Fisher kind of like the MACD, like when the blue crosses the orange, that's when or when it's
Yeah.
getting close
Hey,
to the
Dylan, did you
orange.
write that bear down today?
I haven't played Apple in a while, so no. But I did a couple times on Tesla, and I didn't hold long enough. I can tell you that.
Which Fisher is that? Is that the one?
Sorry. Yes. Go to the Fisher Transform.
Thank you. And you like that better than I've been using. What is this? A second. 7 RSI and 14 RSI on separate charts, but I'll switch between that and stochastic. But do you think Fisher might be something better to play with?
Well, I'll just say that I haven't looked at the RSI indicator or the stochastic indicator in probably 3 months. That's how powerful. I mean, just man, it. Whew.
So would you take that trade only if the Fisher is crossing above the 2 line?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's going to depend because sometimes on some stuff, I don't know if you've noticed with RSI and stochastic and stuff, some stocks just don't extend it that much, and they just kind of trade within, in the lines. Same thing like RSI and stochastic and stuff. So if you're trading something you're used to trading, they make patterns. Okay, like this is like what I was talking about in between the lines here. So if it typically does that, then that's where I'm typically going to look for a sell. So just kind of see what the typical is. If it extends it, sure. Like if I put a line, let me just show you real quick. Like what I said, make patterns. If I put a trend line, you see that? Let me make it brighter here. If I put a line in there, look how many times the Fisher comes down and touches that line like a support and turns around on it. The RSI will do the same thing on everything you're looking at. The stochastic will do it. Everything makes patterns.
Just look at the historical chart and see like if it's going above or below.
So it's easy. I'll say this. It's easy to talk shit on a chart that's already happened, so I can't tell you what I would have done if I was here today. But what we have going for us that we can see right now is the Fisher is extended, so that would be one confirmation of me looking for a short. It's hitting one of our red lines, so that's a second, and we have a bear signal. So for me, that's what I look for anyway. So
And
yeah, it'd be nice if it came up here to VWAP, but I'm sure even if we looked, we could probably plop a trend line through here and probably get a bounce off of that too.
got it. And then if you go back to the previous day for a second, so you see like how it starts trading sideways.
Uh-huh.
How do you like figure out whether it's going to start trading sideways or not? Because like in options, right? Like if that happens, then it starts eating up your premiums.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's nothing really we can do about a sideways day except just be very careful. Um, your morning volatility is going to be the best to be trading in. So I've been trying, keyword trying, to not take any trades within the first 30 minutes of the day because, as you know, you can come in here, oh wow, Apple's got a massive green candle on the open, and then you get your lunch ate and stolen by some other kid at school. So
is there like any indication where like is there a way to like indicate whether it's gonna go like it's gonna start going sideways?
no, there's nothing that can tell us that it's going to be going sideways for the day. And it really sideways stuff like this bad. This is really really sideways. Tesla did the same thing the other day too. You just try to stay out of it,
I entered SPY around that time, and then it literally just went sideways, and I just like lost on that trade.
Yeah, let me see what Scalper 2 is showing us here. So it's got a couple faster entries, but I was going to say in situations like this, you kind of have to kind of play for yourself and then hope that vision and the traders come into your favor like this. So sometimes I try to beat vision to the punch, which is not very smart. Typically I lose doing that, but so you see it's kind of bouncing off this. It tried to break through our red line, which is a support. Got a little support on it right here off the open. And so seeing that long tail right there, a lot of people kind of call that a shooting star, a hammer, a doji, whatever you want to call it. That just shows me that the buyers said, no, man, we're not breaking below that. And so they shot the price back up. So that shows me there's a lot of buyers in there. And so you could try to enter off of that support and trade it back to the VWAP. But then again, even this early in the morning, you didn't know it was going to be a sideways day.
Yeah, so like if you look at the next bear signal, right? It
This one here.
touched VWAP, it retested,
Mm-hmm.
and then it starts dropping down. But the bear signal pops up a little bit later. But when it pops up, it's already at the bottom of that trend, and it's gonna start going back up. So do you enter like before that signal, or would you still wait for that signal?
You can try. I don't suggest it. I would definitely wait for it because it's one of my confirmations, And that just, if you didn't take profit here, because there's definitely a chance to take profit. It's not very much, but, profit's profit. Better than a loss. I couldn't tell you if I would enter this or not because I didn't. Let me see what the Fisher is saying. So for me, the Fisher isn't extended, so I don't think I would take that one. The MACD is not. I like to see like these MACD lines. If I'm going to enter in a short, I like to see the MACD lines above the histogram because that's prime for a short. If it's down here, it's already on the short side. It should be coming and cycling back up above the histogram. But again,
hey Dylan.
What's up?
Hey, so I do have something. So it's a lead. There's if you go to your indicators and you add the simple CPR. What I've been seeing is that if you add it to the chart, I'll kind of tell you.
Simple CPR.
CPR, yeah. Go back and just type in CPR.
Oh, okay. Chart pattern rectangle.
It just popped up on your screen a second ago. I think there's no space. I think you have to put simple CPR without the space.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Let me mute what I got going on here.
If you scroll back on a couple of days, those three lines. So you've got whenever the CPR is really narrow, then typically it's a you'll trend. But if the CPR is apart, it's more of a range day. I've been using this and I see it's fairly accurate. but that's something that you can look at. But I have been using that, and it pops up the day before, so you can typically tell if your following day will be a range day or a trending day.
You said if it's narrow, it's trending.
Yeah,
So
narrow.
yeah, if the
narrow
bands,
like
if
this.
those three bands are really narrow, then typically you'll get a big trending day, and whenever the bands are further apart, it becomes more for range day.
Nice.
And if you scroll all the way back, you'll see it days and days. That's what I've been using to kind of tell me what the days will look like. If they're close together, then typically you'll have a big trending day, and then if they're further apart, then you get more for range.
And you say
You're
it.
talking about the two blue and the magenta lines.
Yeah, the two blue and the magentas.
You say it pops up the day before here.
Yeah.
So like this would be.
So you should see today's day.
Mm-hmm. Right here.
I think after 6 p.m. I think is when it pops up whenever the market reopens. You'll see the CPR for that day, and that runs for 12 hours. So I want to say it runs from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. the following day.
Okay. I might have to check that out.
Oh yeah, it's a really good just for everyone here. It's helped me quite a bit.
So you're saying 6 p.m. So the way the lines are set up right now, tomorrow is going to be more of a consolidation. So there's not going to be a range trade.
So if the tighter those lines are, the more trend you'll see the following day, and the wider that the range is the more range trading you'll see that day.
Like this is pretty wide right here, and we had a sideways day, but this is pretty tight, and it had a big push. Nice.
So that's actually a leading indicator, because it kind of gives you a heads up on the following trading day.
So I think I got it backwards. The farther apart they are, the more range, or the more or opposite to that.
By ranging, he means consolidation.
The more range you'll see on the day. The closer together they are, the more trending you'll see happening.
Gotcha.
By range, he means consolidation. Just kind of sideways.
And that's called the CPR?
Yes.
Thank you.
When you trade options, do you pay attention to Greeks, or do you just chart your trades out and then go based on charting?
Since I'm day trading them, I don't pay attention to the Greeks. I'll look at the delta and open interest, and that's all I pay attention to.
If you're trading options on Thursday, would you buy for that weekly close on Friday, or would you buy for another week out?
I do, but I know no matter what, I'm not holding it overnight. So everybody's probably going to be different on that. But
and beware too, if you get it for Friday, because they'll, at least on Robinhood, they can't, they end your trade an hour before close.
Yeah, that's right. Suckers.
Also, something for whoever that was that was asking about the Greeks. Something I've noticed about options and delta, anyways, the closer to the money that you're buying, automatically the higher the delta is going to be. So the further away from the money that you buy, as the price moves towards your strike price, the delta will increase.
Yeah.
But the closer to the money or in the money, if you buy the options, your delta will already start higher, like around 0.5 or whatever, and then as it goes further past the strike price, it'll continue to increase from there. So like what Dylan said too, he's been trying to buy whatever option is already in the money that has the best
open interest,
the most open interest, which I've been doing too, and I notice it's pretty killer. If it starts going in the right direction right off the bat, you'll see your delta go from 0.5 to 0.6 to 0.65 like quickly.
Yeah, there's a couple reasons I mainly pay attention to open interest. That's what grabs my attention to that certain strike price, is because one, if there's a lot of people that are buying it and I'm buying the one at least right there in the money that has the most open interest, that tells me there's a lot of demand for it. And we all know the higher the demand, the higher the price. Just like the Ford Broncos, dealers think they can get them. Those Broncos are supposed to have a $40,000, $45,000 MSRP, but there's such a high demand for them because they're hard to get that they're out there trying to sell them for over $100,000.
So you buy the options that have the highest interest?
Open interest, yes.
Interest?
That's the amount of people that are currently holding that option. Also,
even if that's not close to your like in the money?
It
I
doesn't have to be the highest one out of all of them because there might be some that are way further
yeah,
away
yeah,
from the
like
money or way more further in the money
deep
that are
deep in the money that have
extremely high
yeah.
price. So I look for one that's close to being at the money that has a decent amount, like over 1,000 or 1.5 or 2,000 open interest, something like that. Something with a K after it is really all I'm looking for.
Yeah, so on options, I used to buy at the money, which is technically out of the money. It's usually the first one out of the money, but I've really just been only buying in the money, and I've noticed a lot. Like he was saying, the delta would go up. Well, the IV, the implied volatility, is going to help with that as well, and your IV will also go up, which helps the premium go up. And also the key thing with in the money I think that I like the most is if it goes against you on a pullback, even if it's even if you're still confident it's going to go in your favor, so you're holding it. If it goes against you, you don't take such a huge hit. It's not going to freak you out, make you get scared out, nothing like that. Like the premium doesn't just completely melt away on in the money. So I really try to just buy only in the money now, which I've been very profitable with. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Should look at these Apple options. I don't have in the money.
Are they well? Are you looking for next week though?
Yeah, 21st.
Yeah. So I only day trade them, and my rules are I am not holding any overnight anymore unless I plan to swing them. But if I plan to swing them, I'm buying further out than weeklies anyway.
So Dylan, could I ask you if today I made a trade on Tesla right when it was 1090, hovering around 92, 93, 1093 before it started to drop. I made an option call for a put down to 1090 and wrote it down for a little bit. But in that scenario, how would you in the money option that one?
Well, I would look at the first 5 that are in the money. The first one in the money I would ignore unless the open interest is just too high that I can't ignore it. Because
which should be 1095 or
just whatever it is. Yeah. And the reason I ignore it is because it's the first one to get knocked out of or in the money. It's the first one to go from in the money to out of the money, and so that's why I just try to ignore it. It's just something I just it bothers me if I if I take one right there because I know that it's the first one to get out of the money, and so as soon as it gets out of the money, like I said, now you don't have that in the money demand kind of protection that's going to help your premium not take such a big hit. So I look at the first 3. I look at the first 3 to 5 strikes, and I take the one with the highest open interest. And of course, the cost of it's going to take a play too. If it's more than what I want to pay for it, then I'm just not going to pay for it.
Yeah. In that case, if I'm not saying that you would make that type of trade, but what could you put what number that would be in the money? My brain's trying to wrap around it.
Like what strike I would buy?
Yeah, if it's hovering at 1092 and I'm wanting to place a put, what number how would you do that?
Okay, so let me just try to find an area here. So let's say because I took a trade, it was right around 1050. So let me pop a line here. It's right around 1050. I'll coordinate it. So I took this put. I was on my phone, so I knew I wasn't going to hang out in there very long. I was on my phone at the house. I'm like, yeah, let me check on Tesla, see if it's still going down. Because end of day, we're going to have a good little push. So I checked it, and I waited for it to break this low over here on the left because of how many times that it was already tested. And so as soon as I seen it start to push through there, I just grabbed a in the money put. I looked at the open interest. I really don't care about the strike price if the open interest catches my attention. Because I know if it's in the money, then I'm good. If it has high open interest, I'm good. If it's a put and I'm looking to go short, I'm good. And if it's not the first one that's in the money, I'm good.
It broke up. Like, can you say that one more time, Dylan? What number you would enter in?
The strike is like the least of my worries because I'm looking for a put, and so as long as I see I'm on the put option chain, I'm good. So that's a box checked, you know.
Yeah.
And I look for the most open interest in the money in the first 3 to 5 contracts, but I'm not buying the first
taking
one.
a swing, how far out do you take your options? Like,
So that I would look at where your target would be. So let me go back to Apple like we were talking about earlier. And go to the 4 hour. So let's say we got a bear signal today. We're at that support. We expect it to go down, right? My target would be my next white line. That would be my take profit. And so that is $167. And so I would prefer to buy in the money, but since we don't want to buy weeklies on a swing, your account size and you're comfortable like with what you're spending is going to come into play there. So most likely if we're doing this on a swing, we're going to be, let's just give ourselves a month out, and let's say we're going to have to go out of the money because the contracts are going to be kind of high a month out. So I kind of write just as close to in the money as I can get with the most open interest, even for the swing scenario. Open interest is the first and only thing I really care about. Other than that, I try to get as close to the money, like in the money as possible. And so, like I said, it's gonna depend. Like if a lot of people aren't gonna be comfortable spending $2,000 on one contract, so they're gonna buy out of the money. They're gonna see one that they're comfortable with, but just don't buy too far out of the money. Like it'll go up in value, but some, are so far out of the money, they're not going to have anybody else. Your open interest isn't going to go high. The demand's not going to go high, so your delta's not going to move. It'll honestly probably just go down. So it's just a good rule of thumb. Just try to get as close to in the money as you can.
And where do I send my money to you, Dylan, so you can just do all this for me? I just pay you like 30% or something.
I'm not really doing that. Kind of, I would say that's.
I thought I had it yesterday. I'm like, all right, man, I know where these lines go. Like, I'm getting it, and all of a sudden we're talking shorts here, and it's getting in over my head.
You can send it to me. I'll do it for you.
It's just buying. It's just buying puts. Don't think too much into it. It's just trading and making money on the way down.
Hey,
Same
Dylan,
principle.
congrats on your wins today, man. That was nice.
Thank you.
Bigger than what you were doing.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping tomorrow I can make just a nice clean green trade and have the whole week green. But tomorrow morning, I got to take my puppies to the vet so he can see their ears that he cropped and make sure they're doing okay. So.
Right on. Hey, question: how much emphasis do you put on the PC ratio?
Is that to do with options? Because it's probably something I don't care about.
Gotcha.
Like I said, I day trade them.
What's a good open interest? And also, since you're doing day trading, do you use a 5-minute chart or 15 or what?
A good open interest is going to just depend on like the stock, because there's going to be some that just like to have 10,000 open interest on some contracts, and that's like a normal for them. But if like on Tesla, if I see, most strike prices have like 1,000 to 1,500 open interest, and then I see one with 15,000, that's the one that catches my eye.
And if you see a whole bunch of strike prices with no open interest, then I'd probably just stay away from that whole expiry date altogether.
Yeah.
I'm looking at one right now. It's a 170 put, expire on the 21st. It's 93,000 open interest.
Is there an example that we can see? Because I haven't really paid attention to open interest.
Yeah, I can upload one when we're done here.
Sometimes you have to add that column onto your option chain, because like your platform or whatever, like from stock, basically it won't show you the open interest. You have to go to like options and then add a column and then type in open interest and then add the column of open interest so that you can see it.
Real quick, I just want to. Is Easy Trader still in here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I just want to go over these bear signals. So you understand we're looking for bounces off of our lines that we drew from the monthly and weekly. You understand VWAP, okay?
Yep.
The same thing, we're looking for it to get rejected or broken or supported, depending on what side it's on, like this.
And if it's away from it, you look at the lines.
We're looking for it to get rejected on the VWAP like this. So I'm just going to go through here. So on this bear signal, and let me bring up the Fisher.
Is that the free VWAP? Because the one I'm clicking on, it doesn't give me that white line.
Yeah, it's just the normal one. You want to you probably have to type in volume weighted average price to get the right one. I think somebody had that problem the other night too.
It'll be the one that doesn't have any name in front of it, like in blue. So those are the inbuilt ones. So that way you can identify it. It'll usually be just one.
Looks like it's under the technicals section.
Yeah, so if you don't have any blue name in front of it, that means that it's like inbuilt. So just pick that one.
Yeah, all mine are showing up blue. And I get a green line connecting the candlesticks.
These the green line's just like whatever bands that they have built in. I just unchecked that box because most brokers and exchanges and trading platforms don't have bands on theirs, I don't think. I've never seen them anyway. So easy, based on this bear signal, we got our lines on there, VWAP. I put Fisher on there for us. Why would you enter this trade, and why, if you did?
First off, it broke the VWAP. I went down, and then it was getting rejected multiple times at that line in the big box.
Perfect, exactly.
And on top of that, the Fisher was indicating a crossover at the peak.
Perfect.
That was it's like a perfect setup.
Well,
I wouldn't even think twice entering this trade.
Exactly, and that's all we're looking for. If we don't have full confidence, this is exactly what goes through my mind during the day when I'm taking trades. Why would? Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean, dude. Sometimes I am too. I'm sure everybody is. Like, oh man, we gotta go. You know.
Like trying to squeeze that a little bit extra, and it's like.
Just keep in mind, not every vision signal is going to be a win because, like this bull signal here, there is probably a bunch of buyers coming in here, trying to break it through VWAP. But for us, we had to say, okay, well the Fisher's kind of high here. We have already bounced off of this and came quite a ways. And Dylan said he trades to VWAP, so I mean we're basically at VWAP here. And so, if we take this trade and it even breaks up through VWAP and hits this next line of ours, it's not really a big win for us. So being that it's so high, Fisher's, already pretty extended up there. We're that close to VWAP. We're just going to hold off and wait for the next trade.
Yeah, and I think with Apple, it's just really clean. Like if it's at the peak, it'll go down. If it's at the bottom, it'll go up.
Yeah, this is why I recommend it, man. It is just such a good trader. It's a good trader.
It's a beginner trading ticker for
and it's slow. It's not fast like Tesla where it's going to just whip you and just take all your money.
Yeah.
So on this next one, anyway, like I was saying, this is what I do during the day. When I see a signal start flashing, I'm like, why would Vision be giving me a signal right here? Why would Vision be telling me, let's go short here? Fisher's extended a little bit. We're getting rejected by the VWAP already by 1 5-minute candle, and this one has been rejected currently, let's say for 3 minutes out of the 5 minutes that the candle's been live, and we're getting a bear signal flashing.
So at this point, let's say I entered the trade, and everything is lining up.
Uh-huh.
But then after that first red candle, everything just goes back up. I didn't do anything wrong in that one, right? It's just
Absolutely not.
was
No. Yeah. And it's just there's nothing you can do about that. That's the next thing I'm going to show you is very key. Somebody asked me about risk management, I think earlier on Facebook somewhere. So let's say we took this bear signal. We need to place our stop. We need to have, at the time or before when we're taking a trade, we need to know or at least have an idea of where our stop loss would be and where our target would be. Okay, so whether your target is just 10% on the trade or whether your target is, one of these lines, because those lines become your take profits. Okay, so let's say our stop, we know that VWAP is either going to reject it or it's going to be a breakout area for the trade. So I'm going to put my stop above VWAP a little bit. And on this case, we're above VWAP and one of our lines. So there's our stop. We're going to do another box and we're going to say this low, because we know it has some support here. This low is going to be our target, and I'll color that green. And we just have to sit back and leave the trade alone and let it work. Just think of it this way. It's either going to hit our stop or it's going to hit our target. Nothing else can happen. That's the only two outcomes.
Target that you set, if so that you can think of it that way, right? Like if it's responsive of that, like you need to take profit. But if it breaks that, then you can take in the trade, right?
Yes. And this is where where you would have, if you had multiple contracts, like let's say you had 3 contracts here on this bear signal. And so at your target, you would take 1 or 2 off the table, go ahead and take profit on them and leave 1 or, maybe 2 for a runner. And so this is where when you have a big enough account and of course you traded your account from small to bigger. So all that experience you gain is huge. This is where you would start making more money because now you're buying 2 or 3 contracts and you're going to leave some runners out there on the table. And so being that this got right here, you would kind of just, I place my target here because this is a support. And so you'd obviously maybe see if it wants to break it or not. And judging by how many times it's been rejected by VWAP already today, judging by the SPY today, judging by the VIX, the Qs, everything else out there, you have a pretty good indication that we're going to go through this target. But this is just, like I said, this is just a good, safe way to trade. You would put your target at an area of clear support. And so you can put your target wherever you want. Like I said, you can be 10% on the trade, whatever. But there's no guarantee that it's going through this support. So that's just a nice, safe place to maybe move your stop down to if the trade goes in your favor even more. You kind of move your target.
Like, it's not the most recent swing high or low. It's more like where the most resistance or support was.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's kind of like I was saying with VWAP. There's no, if we got this bounce here and we traded it back to the VWAP, I would take profit at the VWAP. But if it was somebody else, they might be trading it and thinking that it's going to go through VWAP. There's, and there's never a promise that it is. So just like that, there's never a promise that it's going to go through that support area. But if we see it start to poke through it, like see where that wick ends up right here on the left?
Yeah.
That lowest wick. If I see this thing start to wick down below that wick, it's on, like Donkey Kong. I know it's going lower at that point. There's a very, I would say higher than a 9 out of 10 chance that it's going lower to make another.
The sellers have already pushed the price below that.
Yeah, exactly. It pushed it past the low on the day.
And also, what I've heard or read is that at that point, a lot of stop losses and big profits get triggered.
Oh,
so
guaranteed. I guarantee that's why this candle is so big. There was a lot of stops in here. There was probably a lot of take profits here, and just all together mixed in, just flushed it. So that's again, your target, your stop, and just let it work. Because that is, if you have your target and stop, that's the only 2 outcomes that can happen. You know what I mean? It's kind of like getting in a relationship with somebody new. The only 2 outcomes, married or broke up, And
I think that's like you've said that so many times, it's ingrained in my head now.
Yeah. Don't tell your wife that. But so, and then again, kind of get a market sentiment. And if it's as red a day as today, I would never expect, like, don't ever play the bull side on a day like today. It's just not
Yeah,
smart, you
I think at
know.
this point, what my understanding is, I would only take bull if it's going above the if it breaks above the VWAP and
Uh-huh.
have a strong green candle, and then it starts like that could be a good indicator. And if the Fisher is in support of that,
Yeah,
so
absolutely, because the VWAP is a good indication of that, you know, that specific stock's kind of sentiment for the day. Like if it's
yeah,
below VWAP, it's bearish. If it's above, it's bullish.
yeah, and especially like in a let's say market was going down, and then that strong bull that would have happened if hypothetically and crosses above VWAP. At that point, I think I would put my stop at the VWAP because if it breaks down, uh, I would know that the market is going to continue downtrend.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep. So let's look at another day here. We won't look at this sideways day. We already talked about it. So here's a bear signal. Why would you enter that one?
Close below the VWAP.
Uh-huh.
Fisher wasn't really in support. I mean, it's not at the peak yet. I probably wouldn't enter that trade because the Fisher hasn't peaked out,
Okay.
and I might not get a good enough profit on that. It could be like a quick swing back up.
Perfect.
So
Yeah,
probably wouldn't enter that.
that's fine. And this, I'm just trying to get you to look at them, just so tomorrow when you see them, you can ask yourself. And then once you have one, that's like, man, I would enter the shit out of that.
And that's like a clear double bottom, so that would be
Yeah. And see, but the trick is with a double bottom or double top, you don't know that they're a double bottom or double top until they're a double top or double bottom. You know what I mean? Until they close into a double top or double bottom, you don't ever know. But see why I told you to put the target at that last support area?
Yeah, because it.
No guarantee it's going through.
Yeah.
But anyway, if I entered this bear, my first reasoning that I see is how many rejections it had at that main white line. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 35 minutes, it got rejected hard right there and couldn't get above it. So when that bear signal starts flashing, you know, like you said, the Fisher's not high, but it's up there. So there's kind of a, you know, it's up there. You know?
If you enter, it would be like a scalp.
Yeah. And so, you know, there's a good chance that this is going to cross the VWAP. So if I took the gamble on there, this is one of them ones that I'd be like, hey, enter in while it's flashing so you could get a little better entry. But again, target at that last support because there's no guarantee it's breaking through. Now, if I start to see this wick really hard down here and get pulled back up, if I see those wicks, new wicks lower than these ones right here, I'm going to hold a little bit longer. And if I have to break even on it, that's fine. But, you know, if you see wicks breaking lower than the previous area like this, it's a really good chance it's breaking lower. Yeah. So this is all I'm just trying to get you to ask yourself these questions each day when you're watching Vision. So on this next one, since you didn't take that trade, you're sitting here watching Apple. Why would you take this one?
So it went above the VWAP. Yeah, Fisher wasn't low, but it did cross. And then kind of continues up. I would probably wait until the second green candle shows up and starts going above that resistance area.
Since let's just make this easier and more realistic, so we don't know what's happening, right?
Yeah, I would probably wait for the next candle to show up.
Okay.
Because I wanted to cross that.
That may, yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Very good point. So what I see is you're ignoring where it's getting supported and rejected. You're focusing really hard on the VWAP, which is very important. Like, do not focus less on the VWAP because it's one of my top indications of why I'm entering trades.
I mean that's why I like I would wait for the next panel because
Right.
that's
That
the
main
strong
area.
resistance
Yeah,
area.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But you're missing this here. This is where the support held last time. So we got a support here for 10 minutes in a row. I would consider maybe even 15 minutes just on this pullback. 20 minutes back here that it held, which is a long time. That's a long time for something this early in the morning to hold up. So that's telling me, hey, that's strong. If it didn't break it here, we waited. We got a bull signal as buyers clearly came in to break the VWAP. But I'm with you on waiting for the next candle to see if it opens and trades above this white line. That's absolutely beautiful. Like right on that. And then we got the Fisher crossing here. So just pay attention a little bit more to where stuff's getting supported or rejected. Other than that, you're spot on. Just make sure you ask yourselves these questions when the signals show up. Other than that, I mean, you're golden. But I feel you on the whole, just getting antsy, and just the emotion that I tell people all the time. Trading is easy once you have these lines and understand, VWAP and a few other things. Trading is as trading, it's simple. It's easy. The emotions are literally the hardest thing. And they're so hard to get over. Absolutely insane. Like you think, like I had a buddy the first time, really the only time I ever went deer hunting, and he told me, "Yo, you're gonna get deer fever. You're gonna get deer fever." And I was like, "Deer fever? What the fuck is that?" He said, "If we see a deer, everything that you're practicing, squeeze the trigger, don't pull it, blah blah blah. Make sure you aim, breathe in a couple good times, calm down. Everything that we've been talking about is gonna go out the window if you see a deer." I said, "Bullshit, dude. You don't know me."
Just send it.
My mom, my mom named me after Jesse James, bro. You don't know me. And I'm telling you, dude, we seen the biggest buck I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this thing was like the size of Godzilla to me. And I had this awesome little lever action 30-30. Everything went out the window. I completely missed it. I don't even know where I shot. And this thing just took off running. And then my buddy had to hit it with a buckshot shotgun, and I was like, man, insane. Everything went out the window.
Did you start shaking really bad?
I don't remember, but I would imagine probably so. Like just everything went out the window. I was like, no way, dude, that's crazy. Like everything started just pumping and just emotions got to you. Same thing with trading, man.
You know what's crazy? You're saying the same thing with trading, but I'm a pretty serious hunter, and I remember when I was little, I used to, like my first, 15 deer I ever killed, where I would shake like crazy.
Yeah.
Pray, and I was on it. I just like couldn't hardly talk, and somebody was in the stand with me and tried talking to him. I just voice chatter and everything else, and now, I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. I just get on and go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing with trading.
The first few deer you shoot, you get shaking, you excited, and after that,
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, but by the time that shake goes away, you're not near as. That's part of what it is the excitement of it. I just don't get excited for it like I used to.
Absolutely.
If I've got a giant on camera, but just to go out there just to shoot a cold buck or something, no.
Absolutely.
Dylan, can you go back to that what this thing did?
You're cutting out a little there, easy.
Sorry. Can you tell me what we look for, or would you even take a trade in those third and the fifth bull signal?
Can you say the last part again?
The third and the fifth bull signal.
The third.
Yeah, this one, and then the one after the next one. Would you what would you look in that to enter the trade? Because it's way above the VWAP.
Mm-hmm. I would not go bullish. I would not go bullish this high above the VWAP, personally. I mean, if you got in there and held, for the rest of the day, sure. But it's also easy to talk shit on a chart that already happened. So, if
I would probably stop out.
Yeah, if we're this high above VWAP, I won't go long on it. I'll short it. which obviously would have ended bad for me. You know, depending on where I entered. You know, if I got this one, I definitely would have been able to take profit. I mean, these are the kind of trades I take on Tesla, you know, because I'm trying to build that cushion, so I'm in and out really quick. But most of them would have probably ended up in a loss. You know, this one you might have been able to take profit on by the end of the day, but I just don't. I don't look for longs. You know, I mean, this is so. One thing you can try to watch is how many times something get tested. I don't know if you've ever heard like 3 times in trading, like if something tests something 3 times. That's what. Yeah. So here's one test. Here's 2 tests, and the third one is the one that finally started to break higher. So that's one thing you can pay attention to, but it's not 100%. You know, so again, like something like that, again, we don't know that it's going to happen because let's say, you know, we've only seen this much so far of the chart. We don't know that it's going to break higher. I mean, we have this where that third circle is. We have, you know, a higher point of support, and the fissures came back down a little bit. But, you know, there's no way of telling what's going to happen. But you do have those kind of few things going for you.
So to begin with, while I understand these rules and get a really good hold of it, you would suggest that I only take trades when they're like, you know, either bouncing off the VWAP or crossing above the VWAP strongly.
Yeah.
Testing the support resistance and all that stuff, not far out from it.
Yeah, to me those are the safest ones. You know, like this bear, I would definitely take. Look how far the fissures extended up here, right before. The bear signal came in here. I'm assuming that this bear signal is probably flashed on one of these few candles back here. We got this resistance for, you know, probably 4 or 5 candles there, all together at that area, and it's right at 175. So we have that whole number going for us where a lot of people are going to take profit and trade from. And so I would expect this to trade back to VWAP. You know, we didn't get it this day, but I'm not going to lie, I'd probably take that short. Just based on all that. You know, it's got to have a pullback at some point in time. You know, unfortunately on Apple, it takes a lot of money to move it. You know, if this was Tesla, it would have absolutely came back to VWAP. But Apple doesn't move very much per day, you know.
Are you gonna get into swing trading more?
Man, I'd love to. I really want to, but like I said earlier, my anxiety just kills me on it because I'm just like, man, you know, what if it just dumps off today like it did? You know, like the market did today. What if I was in a swing trade and just ate me alive?
Yeah, the other night when there were just a few of us in the group at like 2 in the morning, I was asking you some stuff about that, and you were charting it out, and you're like, "Dang, I need to start swing trading."
Absolutely.
Because you know they were on Tesla. There's $50, $60, $100 moves.
Bangers, dude, bangers.
You could almost capitalize the whole thing on.
Huge. There's so many tickers I look at on the 4-hour chart, like Amazon. Amazon's beautiful. There's so many tickers out there that I'm just like, man, swing trading would just, because in my opinion, swing trading is where the real money is. Because like you said, you capitalize on more of a bigger move. Like
right,
if
like the move you were talking about that you missed out, like
Tesla,
$700-800 on or something like that.
Oh, yeah. That one was a day trade.
Yeah, but you wouldn't got that had you been swing trading, probably.
Right.
Or no?
Well, I looked at. I'll show you a Tesla swing that I missed out on. That I probably would have taken it if I had looked a little further left, and that's why I was so mad because I didn't look far enough left. I ignored it. I already had the chart charted, and just totally missed it. A member in our group, Brandy, she took it, and they made like 28,000 on it. And they just traded shares, not even options, dude.
Oh,
yeah. So you imagine if this was so. If you look left at this massive high right here, at this high point right here, this was the previous high of Tesla. This such an easy okay, that's where this thing's gonna bounce when it comes down. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so as it came down, dude, this thing moved $330, just straight up, basically, right here. Where this little low point is right here. Fissures down in the dumps. Let's look at what Vision said. Vision's right there. Let's turn on Scalper 2, see where it picked it up. Picked it up right there at the bottom. And just ran $330. Now, me personally, I probably would have taken profit at 1100. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit. I probably would have taken profit at 1100, but that's still $200 because it bounced.
Why wouldn't you just wait for the take profit signal up there?
I just saying the anxiety, man. Just
Profits.
yeah. I mean, can you imagine $200 on a single call on Tesla? An in the money call at that, because I'd definitely buy in the money.
Yeah.
And in 3 days, you're at 1100. 4 days, you're at 1100. That's a $200 push on a Tesla call. I mean, we're talking probably at least 30 or 40 grand profit.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
Insane. And so that's why I was so pissed that I missed it. I'm like, no way, dude. And it's all because I was focused here. I didn't do this. Had I just did one flick of the mouse, I would have easily caught this. But I already had my chart charted. And
Why don't you just set aside like money to day trade with, and then also swing trade a little bit on top of it, or just get to be too much?
I like it. I'll definitely do that. I'm gonna build this account and I'll do it because I definitely want it. Like
I want to see it because I mean that's what I need to do. I don't have time to sit there and day trade constantly.
And
Unfortunately,
it's funny because I know how to swing trade. It's just the emotions just get to me, dude. I can't.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, if I hold something overnight, I can't sleep.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what I'm feeling.
I think I was up for 48 hours straight.
Dylan, you gotta start doing some live trading, man.
We will.
You gotta stream it.
Probably around the end of February I'm going to.
And hey, I'm about to dip out of here and call it a night. But Dylan, are you gonna keep doing these a bunch?
Probably. I'm just trying to teach that. Like, this is just a lot. Too many people come in, they get vision, they think they're going to be a millionaire by next week. They're just going to take every signal, and come on, guys. They just don't want to do any work. That's it. They just, I understand a lot of people, a lot of advertisements on Facebook make you think that trading is a get-rich-quick scheme. It can. I mean, like, you can make a whole, like, money you've never even thought about getting before, but you have to do the right steps.
Right.
So I'm trying to.
One of these that I've joined has been super helpful.
Let me
helpful to me, so
let me show you before you leave.
Everyone.
Yeah, I want to show you something else, everybody, before you leave. On the Fisher that I've been noticing, and it happens on any time frame. Oh, and then I want to show you the 5-minute, 15-minute thing. So let me grab just a normal trend line. If you watch the Fisher, this sucker sets up trend lines like nobody's business. So pay attention to the trend line I have. What do we know about when trend lines break? Right? Now look at the price when that trend line on the Fisher breaks. Huge dump. Just like it would if we had a trend line on the chart here. So just...
Is Fisher also, does divergence also work on Fisher?
Yes, it does. I'm not a divergence trader, but I do pay attention to it, and absolutely.
Show me something
Some things
before
are like really obvious. So
Yeah, I mean, it's.
like on swings, I have noticed sometimes they're like very obvious, like just like right there.
I'm not sure how obvious it is compared to like the MACD and like the RSI and stuff, but I've seen it for sure.
How much of a lagging indicator is that Fisher?
What's that?
How much does that Fisher lag?
Not.
MACD lags.
Oh, absolutely.
So it lags a little bit. I mean, how much of a lag do you see with the Fisher?
Not much, dude. Not much. Like if it's about to flip, you know it. Absolutely. And I think that's probably why I like it so much. But like, look at this. The Fisher hits this little trend line that I have drawn here. When it breaks through it, look at what price did. And it just so happened that it happened when it hit this, got rejected by this resistance point right here again. They said just...
Dylan, before I dip out of here, will you show me how to do something?
Sure.
So I've got the MACD and the Fisher on my screen.
Uh-huh.
But the Fisher is like super like microscopically tiny when I've got my MACD
okay.
open.
Grab it.
Earlier you had yours about the same size.
Grab it like this.
Smart. Okay. I haven't done that, so thank you.
No, you're good. Yeah, there's a little
All right,
bar.
guys. I'm
Hang on,
dipping out.
hang on,
Thank you.
hang on. Don't leave yet.
All right.
Let me show you what's been helping me hold trades a little longer. Oh, damn it. Why did it jump to eBay? Oh, I hit the space bar. My bad. Okay, let me jump back. Okay, so we're on the 5. Pay attention to how many times the fisher will cycle back and forth on the 5 minute. Okay?
Yep.
Let me use this day as example, so because it cycles more. So by cycles, I mean how many times it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, so, but we kept running this entire day. And that was yesterday. So let me go to 15-minute yesterday. And look how many times this cycled. So like this, look over here to the right. By the time it came up here from the top all the way to the bottom, just one nice smooth cycle. So this is what I've been paying attention to on the Fisher, is I'll jump to the 15 if I'm trying to see like a good entry to hold on to. Like say I get a bear signal up here, which I'm sure we got one.
Did you just go from the 5 to the 15 there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we get this bear signal, got rejected, cool. We're going to jump in here for a flush because obviously this is a weak-ass morning for Tesla. So we jump in on the bear. We go down. I want to see like kind of how much steam this thing has left to go down. I will jump over to the 15 and look at where the Fisher is.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so right here, I see that the Fisher's only halfway through. And so I know this thing should have, not 100% I'm sure, but it should have a lot more steam in it to keep rolling down.
Yeah.
So I just...
The Fisher, what time frame did you put those resistance lines drawn on?
The same thing we did before, monthly, then the weekly, and I think on this I skipped the daily.
I'm telling you, the Fisher and the MACD is what has been deterring me from a lot of trades, but now looking, you just showed me that makes a lot of sense.
Since you use the MACD, let me show you something. What I just add on here that I didn't want to add moving average. That's what I added on there. Let me get these off here. On the MACD, if you pay attention, again, the MACD will cycle a bunch of times on the 5 minute. But if you pay attention to where the MACD lines cross, either bullish or bearish on the 15 minute, pay attention to that. Because there's a lot of computers that are buying that shit or selling it. Either or.
Basically, you've learned to trade against the computers almost, or with the computers.
Well, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I sit here, like my legs hurt. I got the stand-up desk because my legs hurt from me sitting so long just watching these fucking charts move. I just try to pay attention to everything. Not everything was good, not everything was bad, but I just look at this shit over and over. And I noticed every time these lines cross, on the 15 minute, it rips. Or it goes down hard.
Dylan, so it seems like you're using the 15 and the 5 to figure out which direction the trades are going. And when you look at I know I've asked this before, you pretty much don't look at the 1 minute chart, but
no,
you look at the
I do.
3 minute, the 1 or the 3 minute chart to figure out like at what time, like when you're going to actually enter the trade in the direction that the 5 to 15 minute chart tells you.
I enter based on the 5 minute. But I do see this is a web browser just so I can have the music playing for us, But on my desktop TradingView app, I have the chart split in half, and I have the 1 minute over here on the left and the 5 on the right. Because the 1 minute, like you will see the 1 minute candles making trend lines only for the day, not like a main trend line that you're going to find on the 15 or the 1 hour or something, but only for that day. And so I draw trend lines over there, but I don't enter based on it. And I do watch like where those 1 minute candles close in relation to support lines, rejections on resistances like VWAP, because they're going to show you like the really fine closes and opens and highs and lows. But
So for swinging like I am, you did say to look at the 4 and the 15 instead of the 4 and the 1 hour.
Yeah, because you're looking at two good swing trading time frames, Okay. So it'd be like going from like looking at the daily and the 4 hour. There's a lot of people that swing the daily. There's a lot of people that swing the 4. There's a lot of people that swing the 1. So just stick with the one you like more, and then I would enter on the 15.
Okay.
Dylan, can I ask a quick question before we go?
Sure.
So, I primarily swing trade. I'll just do like usually 1 or 2 trades a week, but I'm making profit, but I seem to have trouble setting a good trailing stop. I get stopped out and leave a lot of profit on the table. What's a good method to know where to put a trail stop?
Well, 2 things. I just want to tell you, one, don't bust your balls about how much profit you left on the table. Because it sucks. Trust me, I know. Like, I missed out on, over $10,000 last week. But
yeah,
that'll start every day you come to trade. Every morning, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna hold this sucker, and then like it's probably a trade you might not want to hold, and so your emotions get worked up because of all the profits you left on the table. So that's just a tip, kind of like Music Man was saying, like he keeps looking at the profit shares channel and he's like, man, everybody's making all this money. Don't let that bug you, because that's gonna not help your emotions when you're trading.
Yeah, I'm bad about that. I'll get out of a trade, I'll make,
Absolutely.
$300-400, and then I'll go back and I'll look at what the price is. I'm like, damn, I could have made.
I do it. I do it every time, literally every day. But I just, I really try not to let that get to me. But it is what it is. Just try not to let it get to you. But as far as the trail goes, there's 2 things you can do. Is one, trade the same shit every day and just kind of learn if it's gonna like pull back on you, how big will the pullback be, or how big, if it's gonna do like one of these moves right here where there's a couple little red candles to test the VWAP and then continue. Kind of get a measure on how big these candles, like how much. Let's see, 1093 to 1088. So whatever that difference is there, like $5-6. Maybe go through the chart for on the weekend or something and see how big each one of these candles are. And just kind of set that like $8, $9. Maybe let's give ourselves a little extra room and say $10 trail.
Okay.
But there's another thing you can do. Let me see if I can get one to pull up and it actually work for me. I think my indicator values. Let me turn my indicator values back on real quick. I gotta figure out how to do it. It's been a long time since I turned my... By the way, if anybody has those zeros and everything still next to vision, you can turn all those off. I just gotta find where it is. It should say something about indicator values.
While you do that,
right here.
If you go into the main settings or vision, there's a thing called a trailing stop. How good is that?
It's really good. It's still
good like recently, so
it's still kind of a beta type of deal, but it works really good.
It kind of draws a line with the chart, so it's like figuring your stop losses. I feel if you adjust the ATR.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing here.
Stop loss really close, really tight.
Yeah. So the ATR should show me. Where's the ATR here? So you see the ATR there? How it's showing me a value in the bottom left-hand corner. It says 828. So that's average true range. So if you just kind of scroll through here, you can see that the ATR for each one of these candles so far is anywhere from $8 to $9.
Okay.
So I would just kind of poke through there, maybe go the last 2-3 days and just kind of get an average. And so I would probably set my trail at $9.50 to $10.
Okay. The last Tesla trade, I set my trail stop at $10, and then I got scared and I tightened it up to $5, and I got stopped out.
No, but every day that goes by, you learn something new and you get better. That's all that matters.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Yep. Anyway, I'm going to turn my indicator values back off now. If you guys have all those zeros beside vision still, just go to your status line in the settings, chart settings, and then go to indicator values. But it will turn off every indicator value, just so you know. All right. Let's see. Anything else I wanted to go over? Easy. You think you got a little better understanding now, or You want to keep going? I'll keep going.
Yeah, I think I'll finish tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna see how it goes.
Okay.
Hopefully, it's not a sideways day. It's a Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to be a pretty red day tomorrow, just because again, like Monday, there's no trading, so there's going to be a lot of people just sitting cash and not have any open positions over the weekend since it's a long weekend.
Especially like all the news that came in.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it was a nasty day today. I mean, it was good because I got some puts, but
the more I started paying attention to the news, I realized like Feds just like they talk every few days.
Yeah. Absolutely. They sure do.
Market starts going crazy.
But yeah, just I would suggest, like it was showing here, kind of just kind of flip back and forth at the 15-minute. It can show you.
It's good. The VWAP was still a good support thing.
Yeah, the VWAP's still really good on the 15 minutes. So like this right here, we got super good support. No reason to not take that trade, honestly. But like let's just look at the Fisher here on the 15-minute. This is January 10th. Look at the Fisher here on the 15. Nice cycle from down smooth to the top. And go back to the 5. And that was January 10th. It's the 11th. And this is the 10th. And so see how kind of more times it cycles in here. And so like right here on this bear, you would think that it's probably going to be maybe a bigger move than it was. But if you flip to the 15-minute real quick, that Fisher would still be smooth heading, it probably was only halfway up right there.
And I liked your idea about drawing the trend line on the Fisher.
Yeah,
because if
dude.
you draw it here
Woo!
on the deck,
I'm telling you, pay attention to it.
You can point out that bear signal in the middle of the day, and you can make some good scouts of that too.
Absolutely pay attention. Dude, this is all, like, literally, if you look at the Fisher, any move that it makes, like, you can put a trend line on it. Like right here. If you look over here, there's a down. Like you can run a trend line down. You can run one right here, and it also makes a whole lot of inverse head and shoulder patterns and head and shoulder patterns, which I haven't really based any trades off of them yet, so I wouldn't recommend it yet. But like if you look right here, this is a hot dog inverse head and shoulders right here, and just rips. Same thing right here. Here's a one shoulder, head, second shoulder, and then drops. So like I said, I wouldn't base any trades off of that because I'm still watching it for all that. But definitely draw the trend lines on it. Absolutely. Because like right here, if you see, you take a trend line and you put it through here. When it crosses that trend line to the downside, there was a very, very good drop on Tesla. So definitely pay attention to, like, it doesn't cost anything to drop a trend line on there. That's the way I think about it.
Do you think you can show what Fisher you're using again? Because when I tried to pull up that one, it just put in some other one.
Yeah, make sure. I don't know if they're still calling them built-ins or not. No, it looks like they have them underneath the technicals section. Type in Fisher transform. There. Mine's in my favorites because I started, but it should be underneath that technicals. If it has a name, see these names, these usernames over here to the right-hand side? If it has a username to the right-hand side, that means it was a script that's been modified or written by somebody, so it's not the actual built-in.
That's the one I added. So when I named that one, it's just giving me Fisher and not one. I don't know why.
Can you send me a screenshot? Can you put a screenshot there of what you're seeing in the general chat?
Yes, I will do that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, baby, you can get you into it's right there. Right there in that rack. See it? Baby, right there. See it? Right in front of you, baby. Right here. Love you. Wait, why are you guys still awake? Okay, well. Okay. Well, you're gonna go to bed when I'm done, okay? Love you. Well, you better hurry up and go. All right. Did you get a chance to drop that in there?
I'm doing it right now. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. I was just making sure I'm not, missing it or anything. Mandelmiss, just real quick. You're saying that my signals are coming in 1 bar earlier than yours. Check your settings, and well, I'll show you in a second. How about that? Fisher 9. That's odd. Let me see. Let me add. Oh, you know what? That might just be. You know what? I bet I know what it is. Hang on a minute. Let me go back to the indicator values because it might show. I have numbers beside mine, but I don't have that 9. You're on the Tesla day chart. Let me jump to the Tesla day chart real quick.
So when you open that, just on mine, it's for length. I don't know what that's for. It just says length 9. So I just take it off. Oh, it won't let me. It wants me to pick a number for the length.
Keep whatever it is. If you see like a default deal, make sure it's default because you definitely want to see what everybody else is seeing. Yeah, length is 9. Same. So that's just Fisher 9 is just the length.
So this time it looks a little bit more than what you had because earlier when I had it under the I guess the 15-minute setting, it was just really squiggly. It was very hard to see it. I was looking at Tesla too, but
the one you're showing me here on the screenshot, I switched to the daily chart like you have there, and it looks really similar. So,
okay. I think it definitely cool.
No problem. Okay, so Mandelmiss. If you look in your vision settings, look at where's it at? I always have mine flashing. So you see where it says right here underneath the trading experience, it says process real-time flashing signals. Is yours checked or unchecked? Unchecked. That's what I thought. That's the problem. So the reason it's doing that is because so I told you guys that it would flash. And so that's when it starts. Let's say it's on a bear signal. When it starts to see a bearish move, it'll start to flash. The candle's still live, so if the candle starts to come back up because buyers are buying it, the signal can flash back off. What that does is when the box is unchecked, it waits in kind of the background. You don't see it, but it waits until there's a signal that's been confirmed and locked in on that candle. So it was flashing, maybe the candle closed with that signal, and so it brings that signal into the next candle when it opens. So if you want the signals in the same place I have, just check that box on. But you'll see them flash, which I like them flashing because it kind of gives me a heads up of what I can expect. So I personally like them flashing for me. Okay, perfect. You bet. All right, guys. It's bedtime. Easy, you still in here?
One more thing. Do you think you can show me what VWAP you have as well? Because evidently I had a different one.
Yeah, it's same thing. It should be underneath that technical section. Type in volume weighted, and it should pull up. It should say volume weighted average price. Yep.
Yeah.
And then, like I was saying earlier, you'll have those bands, probably the green bands. Go to the settings, and then uncheck the calculate bands at the bottom.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay.
Yep.
All right, we're good. Thank you.
No problem. Easy, you still in here?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm good. Yeah, I don't want to take up too much time.
No, you're good.
I have to go get dinner, but thanks for the session, though.
You're good, dude.
Really
Tomorrow,
helpful.
remember, you show me some profits.
I'm just refining my notes right now. Get up in the morning and start looking at charts.
Hell yeah. All right. Well,
The
try to.
only thought was like I'm in like Pacific, so I have to like wake up super early for
Yeah.
the pre-market. But,
Well, I mean, pre-market's never good for trading anyway, in my opinion.
yeah, I like I remember
You like
you
to
mentioned
watch?
about drawing high and low of the pre-market.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Oh.
pre-market. So
Oh shit! Somebody asked me about that earlier. Um, let me just, since it only takes 5 seconds. Anyway, easy. Tomorrow, remember, you show me profits,
yeah,
and I'll send you a hoodie.
yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Somebody asked me about this earlier. Show them. I swear, Prim showed me. So we're looking at the pre-market high. We're looking at the pre-market low, which there's a couple in here. I wouldn't really call it low, but let's just go with that kind of in the middle there. When the market opens and is live, they showed me to look for a break of the pre-market high or a break of the pre-market low. So they said if it breaks the pre-market high, they buy calls, and if it breaks the pre-market low, they buy puts. And I'm telling 100%, I've watched it every day. I just paid attention, and if it breaks that pre-market low, this sucker dies, and the put's paid. And then the flip side for the calls.
It's too bad you don't trade the first 30 minutes of the day.
Come on, man. Come on.
So that's just pre-market, not overnight, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely pay attention to the after hour stuff. But a lot of times, I just deleted my lines. But a lot of times, you already have the pre-market low and high lines if you charted the monthly and weekly charts right, because these are solid, usually support and resistance lines. Like on Apple, go over there to Apple and look where it got supported. Like we were showing earlier on the 5-minute, all after hours, it got supported on that main support. It'll do the same thing in pre-market because there's really not enough volume typically in pre-market to break supports and resistances. So it usually will find a high at one of those and a low at one of the supports. But definitely pay attention to it, man. I've entered in the past. Last week, I know I did at least once or twice. At least. And, pay attention. Let me get my box tool out here. So it opens, it gets supported on that pre-market low, pops up above VWAP, gets rejected by the pre-market high. The very next candle, we got a dive, and it closed below VWAP there. And then if we turn on vision, I remember exactly where that bull signal is. Right there. And so it's just another thing to add into your confidence of that signal, confidence of that trade. Usually when you see it come up through VWAP, this right off the open, it comes up through VWAP and then quickly gets rejected and slapped back through it. At least on Tesla, I can speak for Tesla. It's going low. So just pay attention to pre-market low and high no matter what. I would definitely recommend it. And I still swear that Prim showed me that. And, I showed Josh this the other night, Prim, and I said I swear Prim told me this, but he denies it, and he said no, I think I remember him saying it too. I said, see, I'm gonna have to tell him. Yeah, no, man, it's one of the best things I've seen, honestly. Just a quick little for the morning session, anyway. Prim, by the way, that reminds me, I would like to know, not tonight, because I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing everybody talking, but maybe tomorrow or this Saturday when we're doing it live. The little watch list you posted. I don't know if you posted one this morning or last night, but the night before, like above or below, you're buying calls or puts. I would like to know what makes you choose those areas. So if you want, maybe tomorrow or Saturday. Can you? Yeah, because you should be able to share your screen. You're on your PC, right?
Yeah, I'm on my PC.
Okay.
I'm on my PC. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
I'll go over them real quick.
Yeah, I would with that too, because for each thing, like say Apple, for example, you have calls above this and puts below this or whatever.
Yeah.
How can you be thinking of playing calls and or puts on the same thing at the same time. I don't get it.
You want to do it tonight, Prim, or you want to do it tomorrow?
Right.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll do it tomorrow. Only reason
Or
why
Saturday
is
or whatever.
yeah, Saturday will be better because I have my little son. He's right here tucked away with me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you heard it here, everybody. You want to be here Saturday. More knowledge. All right, guys. Thanks for joining in and asking questions.
Thanks, everybody.
I want to see everybody making profits tomorrow.
Yep.
Have a good night, everybody.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.